This is my first video looking at the new archetypes in Cosmo Blazer, which is due out in a few weeks. Now, first off, a rule, I'm only going to be looking at cards in Cosmo Blazer. I know there's a new structure deck coming out soon, and the archetype we're going to talk about today works very well with that structure deck. But we're only going to cover the archetype that is present in Cosmo Blazer. Okay? Also, forgive me if I say Cosmo Blaster, because for whatever reason, that's been stuck in my head and I can't seem to get it out. The archetype we're going to look at today is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist, and also the Fire Formation cards that help it along. First off, all of the creature cards have something similar in common. They all have some method to bring out a Fire Formation spell or trap from your deck, directly from your deck, and then setting them directly in play. This is pivotal for the deck in order to work. Additional effects involve using those formations, either sacrificing them, popping them, or setting additional ones in order to gain effects such as special summoning, destroying, or additional sets. So we have creatures that search out their specific formation spells and traps and put them in play, and then an additional effect that uses formation spell traps for effects. So what do these formation spell and traps do? Well, aside from one instance, they're all continuous spells or traps. All of these fire formation cards have some effect that allow you to search for more Fire Fist cards or protect the ones that are currently in play. And in addition, near all of them boost attack by 1 to 300. So exactly how does the deck work? Well, it's kind of similar to Madolche. In Madolche, if a creature is destroyed, it's returned back to the deck. Therefore, you don't really get cards in the graveyard very often, and you keep cards in a cycle. Kind of the Mageline loop, where I play Mageline, I search for Mageline, and I can keep doing that until I get more options in order to do more. Also, if I have the field out with Madolche, I can return them to hand and keeping card advantage. In this way, it's similar in that Fire Fist search for spells and traps that they can use. Those spells and traps search or protect more Fire Fists. It is a self-sustaining engine where one searches out the other, and the other searches out the one, and they both have additional effects that support one another. In this way, they keep a cycle going that even if there's not anything they can really do to win yet, they keep themselves active and alive until they are able to build up something in order to win the match. Most of those somethings are the 1 Synchro and 2 Xyz monsters. One of the Xyz is arguably better than the other one. Lion Emperor isn't bad. You detach one to bring a fire monster from the graveyard to hand. It's decent. It's a level 3, or rank 3, I'm sorry, and it's decent. The other one, King Tiger, who's rank 4, when he's summoned, you set a spell or trap fire formation, which is pretty normal for most of the Fire Fist creatures. You can detach material from it to negate all effects of all monsters on the field except for Beast Warriors, and this continues until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's pretty good. I don't know if you know that. That's pretty good. The one trap that is not a continuous and is the only rare deviates from the continuous spells and traps that the other fire formations are, and it is called an ultimate fire formation. What you do is you banish a formation that's currently in your graveyard. Then you can special summon as many Fire Fist monsters that are in your graveyard into play. Then for everyone that you're able to do this with, you can set that many fire formation spell or traps from your deck directly onto the field. So in one trap, you can reload everything, and from there, you can start exceeding, or you can start synchroing. The best thing about this deck is not only the continual engine that it goes, but the fact that you're searching so much. You're searching for very specific things. You're able to get on the field exactly what you need that Fire Formation and Fire Fist can offer you. And then, when you get deep enough into the game, if you activate the ultimate, you reset everything. Now, the one disadvantage really is going to be that with all the cycling and with as few formations as there are, it is possible to run out of fire formation cards, especially if you don't run 3 of everything. Like, you're going to want to run 2 to 3 of near all the continuous traps, but even if you run the max 3 of all continuous traps, you're going to have 12. And I don't think people are going to really want to run 3 of Ultimate, at the most 2. So, with all the cycling you're going to do, this deck has a very high potential of decking itself or exhausting its resources really quickly. Not to say that it's not going to win by that point, but if the opponent is able to stall long enough, you might be at a severe disadvantage. I can see this deck losing a lot to things like deck out and resource loss to something like Dark World, where you're milling so much. That also does set up Ultimate Fire Fist very well, but I do see that as one issue. There are cards in this that do protect from targeting, do protect from opponent's effects, so Dark World can't really affect it as much. And with all those spells and traps out, the attack boosts are going to be somewhere normally at about, I want to say, the average 300, but a mean of about 400. I see something like Madoshe struggling with this deck. And with the right side deck, Dark World can have a very difficult time with it. As far as other deck types, I'm not 100% sure because I'm only talking from my experience, what I know, what to play with. But I see Fire Formation and Brotherhood being a very stable deck, a very good deck. And then when we look at the structure deck and start combining those two deck types, then we will see the true potential of all the new fire monsters in the next set.